the NFL today, the players that play the game and make the big bucks are all too happy to go and spend their money on all sorts of things. Not the least of which is accessories for their bodies and even their uniforms. But what might surprise you though, is that while many of the things they wear on the field is basic, they sometimes decide to go a bit over the top and wear very expensive items on the field despite the risk wearing them in a physical game can be. Allow us to show you the most expensive things worn in NFL games. Be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Number 8. Why would players wear expensive items? This is no doubt a question crossing some of your minds right now, because it just seems wasteful and stupid to go and spend a lot of money on items that they're just going to be wearing for a game that could break or ruin the items in question. So why do it? Why risk it? Well, because players want to have fun. They want to show off and they want to go and try and shock people with how rich they are. It very much is a vanity thing and sometimes it can get out of hand. For example, number 7. Alvin Kamara Part 1. Alvin Kamara is easily one of the best running backs in the game today, and for reasons I'll get into in our second posting about this player. But needless to say, he's one of the most dynamic players in all of the NFL. He's known for busting out of situations where defensive players are trying to hold him back, and then going and running all over them. He's been a huge help with the New Orleans Saints over the years, and many feel that he is going to be the reason that they might have a long run in the playoffs this year. But in terms of expensive things he wears on the field, he has a few different things he's got going on. One of the most, interesting things by far is his grills that he sometimes wears. Yeah, this is for real, because he went and got himself some diamond grills to wear during games at times. Why he would want to go and wear such a thing is beyond us, but hey, that's the way he wants to play. Though again, you have to question why someone would wear grills like this. Sure, there's no chance of them getting hurt because of it being diamonds, but that can't be fun to wear. Oh, and those grills? They cost $20,000. Number 6. Tom Brady. In many ways, Tom Brady is the ultimate success story. He was selected in the 7th round of the NBA draft, and to that end, he was almost destined to be a forever backup to Drew Bledsoe, who was incredible in his own right. But when Bledsoe got injured, Brady stepped up and he's been the top-tier quarterback ever since. He is the winningest quarterback in terms of Super Bowl wins, via having 6 rings in 9 appearances. So when you boil that all down, just about anything he touches is worth something, and that includes his game-worn jerseys. Now, at first you might scoff at hearing this and go, well, of course his jerseys are worth something. But it goes beyond that. You see, after not 1, not 2, but 3 different Super Bowls, his jerseys from those games went missing. And not in a, oh, I misplaced it kind of way. Rather, when the teams were out of the locker rooms for media and such after the victories, someone went into the locker rooms and swiped them. No one knew how it happened for the first 2 until years later in 2017, an international media member was found to have stolen them. And no joke, an FBI investigation was launched. As for the 3rd instance, that was because of an equipment manager of a sort going and getting it and trying to sneak away with it. Thankfully, he was caught as well, and Brady got to have all of his jerseys from the 6 Super Bowls with him. If you're curious, the estimated value of those footballs was going to be about $500,000 if they were sold, making us wonder why that media member held onto them for so long. Number 5. Game balls. Okay, we know this isn't something you wear, but let's be real here. Most people only care about the game ball versus what the players are wearing. The official game balls for NFL games, and especially the playoff and Super Bowl games, are among pieces of football history in a major way. Not the least of which is because of how they are very much a player in the game based on how they're thrown, dropped, etc. Fans at times will go to extreme lengths to get a game ball, including one guy jumping out of the stands to catch a field goal ball that reached him because the net wasn't up. He got a lot of fame for that in Soldier Field. But arguably one of the best examples of game balls selling big was during the infamous Deflategate game. The Patriots and the Indianapolis Colts were supposed to go and have a regular AFC Championship game, if such a thing can be said, but after an interception on Tom Brady, a Colts player noted that the ball he caught felt flat, or deflated. Apparently, the Patriots had deflated some of the balls below the NFL requested 13 PSI to suit Brady's needs, and the Colts caught on that and complained to the NFL. 11 game balls were used in that championship game, and a fan got a hold of one of them and was able to sell it for over $50,000 at an auction. Ironically, the auction house owner felt it might have been able to go beyond that and reach $100,000. Controversy creates cash, and for the Patriots, Super Bowl appearances and victories apparently.
It's the latest NFL scandal, and it's dominating the airwaves.
Deflategate. Deflate.
Number 4. Odell's watches. There are many people out there who believe that there is nothing more important than the bling that you wear on your arms, wrist, and around your neck. And love him or hate him, Odell Beckham Jr. has the bling and jewelry to go for days. For example, when he made his debut with the Cleveland Browns, he played the entire game with a watch on his wrist. No big deal, right? Except that this watch was worth over $350,000. Yeah, he was playing a football game with over $250,000 attached to his wrist. Think he stopped there? Oh, you should know better than that by now. The very next game, he went and wore a watch that was apparently worth $2.2 million. Can you imagine playing a game with that much money on your wrist? We can't. That's literally millions on your wrist, and you're trying to go and play a football game with it on? Come on, man. Number 3, Alvin Kamara Part 2. Told you he would be back, and this is a very special entry because it's very much recent history. You see, the New Orleans Saints were going up against the Minnesota Vikings, and Alvin Kamara just went off. It's possible it was because they were playing on Christmas, and it's possible because he was wearing very auspicious red and green cleats. But either way, he went off and scored not 1, not 2, not 4, but 6 rushing touchdowns all on his own. Think about that. There are running backs who don't get a single touchdown in several games, and he went and got 6 and 1. And to be honest, it should have been 7. You were right, Sean Payton. Anyway, the reason we're mentioning this was because everyone was quoting Spike Lee by saying, "Gotta be the shoes." And no doubt those shoes are perfectly preserved by Kamara because they're now a part of NFL history. He tied the record for the most rushing touchdowns by a running back in history. The record was set in the 1920s. So yeah, those shoes are going to be worth a pretty penny now.
I think 56 nights.
And look at Kamara, just the vision, the balance that he has, the contact balance. He's just a phenomenal.
Number 2, the costumes. As we noted earlier, NFL players love to go and have fun, to the extent that they'll go and buy costumes to wear on the field at times. Like with the legendary and infamous Chad Ochocinco. Some of them are simple, some are elaborate, and some are just funny, but they'll do it because they feel they can. Number 1, the belt. This is another specific entry, mainly because it has to do with Aaron Rodgers and his Super Bowl run. Every time he went and scored a touchdown, he would make a wrestling gesture signaling that he wanted the belt, meaning he wanted to be a champion. Eventually, when he went and got that Super Bowl win, he got himself a World Heavyweight Championship belt adorned on his waist. And it was a real deal kind, not a cheap replica. As such, that thing likely cost thousands of dollars. All to show that Rodgers was the champ.
Yeah, it's kind of worked out. So there's a certain justice in this then, there isn't there?
You know what?
I think so.
So what do you think? What do you think of this look at the items that players choose to wear in NFL games just because they think they can? Do you think they're stupid for risking such things? Or do you think that they're just expressing themselves in order to have some fun? Which of these items would you personally want to have? Let us know in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe, and we'll see you next time on the channel.